So in 2023, we're still trying to figure out what we want, sampler wise, DAW wise, blah, blah, blah. As a producer, we feel like we need like all the tools to be the best producer, but sometimes we just want the tools that actually make us feel comfortable, which is why recently I went ahead and purchased the Akai MPD32, and that's this unit right here. Hopefully you can see that. In today's video, I'm gonna go over everything about this unit, why I bought this unit, and why didn't I go with an MPC or an Ableton Push. There's a lot of different things, but there's one specific reason as to why, and I'm gonna talk about it in today's video. All right, let's get into it. Music producers, what up, what up, what up, and welcome back to another video. It's me, they call me Heat. If this is your first time watching any of my videos today, I'm a music producer of over 15 years. And on my channel right here, I show producers how to make some of the best boom bap, hip hop style beats. So you might be wondering, why didn't I go with an MPC or an Ableton Push? Those are some units that I definitely were looking at, and I was like, man, I should get an MPC Live. Like, there's a whole community of MPC users that I could tap into and just, you know, connect with and build with. There's also a lot of Ableton Push users as well. But then I thought, man, those two units are two brand new units. So then I have to go through the process of learning the MPC Live, learning the Ableton Push, and not just learning the Ableton Push, now I have to learn Ableton as a whole. When I'm so used to my trusty dusty FL Studio, I felt like I should move to Ableton because I felt that it would help with my creativity, and I felt that I needed a change. I needed to try something different, but honestly, I haven't even truly tapped into all of the potential of FL Studio. So when I talk about wanting to feel creative, there's different things that I can do in FL Studio that can help me become more creative or feel more creative. Outside of that, I really went with the MPD because I knew I've had the Presonus SQ, I've had a Korg mini log, I've had different things within my studio that I've gotten rid of because I don't use them. So I don't want to keep going through, selling units all the time and selling all this stuff all the time. So I went with something that I knew would work with anything that I chose. So if I did choose to go to Ableton, guess what? This unit will be able to work with Ableton as well. If I decide to go there, if I want to use any other DAW, this unit will work with those DAWs, and I'm not stuck to one particular unit or DAW. Now the MPD does feature 16 pads. This is an older unit. This unit came out 07, 08 maybe, around that time is when this unit came out. What I did was I did upgrade the pads because the pads that come with the MPD are very slim, very thin. And I was like, I don't really want to go with those pads or use those pads. I do want it to feel like an MPC. So I went to mpcstuff.com, grabbed the fat pads, which are just replacement pads that you would put in like an MPC or an MPD. And if you can see from this angle that the pads do stick out a lot more. So it just feels better and it feels like an actual MPC versus the pads that it had that were very thin, probably half the size of this. It does feature as well 8 pots, so 8 knobs here, and then 8 sliders as well. Music producers, are you struggling with making better beats? You make a beat and it's just stuck in a loop and you just don't know what to do? Listen, head over to boombapuniversity.com to grab up the Cooking That Boom Bap Masterclass. In this course, I'm showing you literally how to chop samples, how to make better drum patterns, how to get those drums to knock, because I'm teaching you how to mix too. And like I said, I'm going to teach you how to arrange that beat from that loop or that 8-bar loop that you have, turn it into a full beat so that you can give it to someone so they can rap on it, they can sing on it, or you want to put it on a beat tape. Either way, I'm going to show you exactly the full process on how I make my beats, how I find samples, how I make my drums knock in 1 2-hour course. Cooking That Boom Bap Masterclass. Head over to boombapuniversity.com and pick up that course. Let's get back into the video. Now, I've owned other MPDs. I owned the MPD24 back in the day when it first came out. And then I owned the MPD, I think it's the 218, which is only like 16 pads. Very just straight to the point. It's not really like a bunch of stuff. So I got this though, because again, if I would have went with the Ableton Push, I would have had to learn Ableton as well. And then not just learn Ableton, I also have to learn how the push works. So I felt that's a lot. I don't want to have to go through all of that. Then I thought, well, let's go to MPC Live. I'd have to learn the MPC as well. It just seems like a long process when I can literally just get pads, set everything up to work in my DAW, my DAW, which is FL Studio. When it comes to getting a MIDI controller, a sampler, a synthesizer, anything like that, you want to get it knowing that I'm comfortable with this, I like this, I really love this, and I'm going to use this. It's not just going to sit here on my desk, collect dust, and that's why I went with the MPD. I knew that, okay, even if it sits off to the side, it's still a controller. It's not like I wasted money on, you know, all of the features that it has. You know, like a Push has a lot of features. MPC Live has a lot of features. But a lot of the times, we probably only will use 60 to 70% of the features, which is why I just went with an MPD and said, I'm gonna learn more about FL Studio. I don't wanna go out and learn something else and I haven't even tapped into the 20% more or 30% or 40% more that I don't know of my actual DAW. So if you are thinking about getting like a controller or a sampler or a synthesizer, do what you feel is best, or get what you feel is best and will, you know, be useful to you. Not just looks pretty in the studio, but something that you know that it's gonna work for me when I need it to work for me. So since getting the MPD, I took my keyboard off the desk. When I need it, I'll put it back on. Right now, we're only focusing on making this beat with just the pads here. So essentially, it's like I have an MPC, except I'm using FL Studio as my sampler, as my sequencer. So I'm gonna pull out Sado Sample. I've been working on a new pack. So with the MPD now, what I had to do was I had to go in and actually set up the pads to work with Sado. So Sado are set to a certain MIDI note or MIDI CC number, and I had to set each pad from 1 to 16 to all the pads. So there's actually, I think, 32 here. So bank A and bank B are set to all of the pads on Sado Sample. So as soon as I hit a pad, it'll automatically like start that chop. I like that so far. So I got a few chops so far. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to, now that we have the stem separation in Sado Sample, yes, you MPC users can't do this. I'm gonna remove the drums from the sample. That way, you know what I'm saying, I can mess around with the sample a little bit more. So I'm gonna remove the drums from the sample. Woo! I like that. I might even pitch it up. So I'm gonna go find some drums. That's hard. Ah, that might work. That just might work. Put the bouncy bap in there. I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tap tempo it out. We'll do 170. I may speed it up just that little bit if I need to. Now I'm kind of thinking like, should I take the bass out? Like in Sado Sample, I don't know. Should I remove the bass too? The bass kind of like gives it this dope little tone. So maybe I'll take it out. Let's just see what it sounds like if I take the bass out here. I'm gonna go get some bass now. Everybody always asks me, where do you get your bass from? Listen, I use Trillion and I use Sakura. Okay, so now 16 levels on the MPD is only for like velocity. Full level is full velocity, things like that. So everybody asks me, yo, how do you do 16 levels? How you get your hi-hats like that? Akai automatically has 16 levels and full level on their controllers. So 16 levels is kind of like a Akai thing. So I'm gonna play the bass out on the pads here. Like I'm gonna make the melody right here. Getting my Kev Brown on right now. Woo! It's crazy right here. This is nuts. This is super bananas. You feel me? Yeah. boy, oh boy, I just found the craziest vocal sample. I'm about to throw it in. Wow. I just put it on Arcade just to see what else I could do. And yeah, I'm about to throw this in real quick. Yep, we got it. We good. We good. This is super fire. All right, I'm gonna close this beat out. So I know I was talking about, you know, getting the MPD, and this was more so about the MPD, but this really was a video about just getting what you feel is comfortable to you. Really what you think that you actually need and that you're actually going to use. I know that we like to see a lot of gear, and there's no reason to spend all this money on all this expensive gear when literally the same thing that I'm doing here, the same type of workflow, the speed of the workflow, you can still do that with just a controller. This all the MPD is just a controller. Doesn't do much else of anything. It doesn't hold sounds. It doesn't sequence anything. You just control what's in the DAW. I'm here to just tell you, don't go spending extra money that you don't need to spend. Just be creative, you know, be as creative as you can. All right. If you like what you saw today and you like the sounds that were used in today's video, I give sounds like this every single week on Patreon. So patreon.com/TheycallmeHeat. You can get all the sounds that I use in every single one of my videos every single week. I'm gonna get up out of here, and until next time, y'all, thank you for watching, and as always, I hope I inspire somebody to go create. Keep cooking that. Boom bap, baby. I'm out of here. Peace.